So the situation in West Asia has once again entered a dangerous phase, with diplomatic efforts stalling, military posturing also intensifying, and global fears growing over a possible energy shock. Oil prices surged once again after Trump swiftly rejected Iran's response to a US-backed peace proposal which was aimed at ending the 10-week-old conflict in the region. The strait through which a major portion of global oil trade passes has been partially paralyzed by the conflict, triggering concerns of a wider global energy crisis. Washington, meanwhile, recently floated a peace offer in the hope of restarting negotiations with Tehran. The American plan proposed an end to the fighting first, before moving to more contentious issues like Iran's nuclear program, which, remember, has been among the most contentious aspects. But Iran's latest response took a much broader approach. Tehran demanded an end to the war on all fronts, including in Lebanon, where Israel continues to fight Iran-backed Hezbollah. Iran also demanded compensation for war damage and reasserted its sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz. State media in Iran, meanwhile, said Tehran also called on Washington to end the naval blockade, lift sanctions, guarantee that there would be no further attacks, and remove restrictions on Iranian oil sales. Now, these demands were rejected by President Trump within hours. In fact, he took to Truth Social to say, I'm quoting, "I don't like it, totally unacceptable," quote unquote. The president did not quite give out specific details about which demands were rejected, but his response effectively shut down the latest diplomatic opening between Washington and Tehran. Iran, meanwhile, continues to defend its position. Tehran says its offer was generous and responsible. The Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson said Tehran's demands were legitimate, including calls to end the war, remove the U.S. naval blockade, and release Iranian assets frozen under American sanctions. As the diplomatic tensions continue to rise, military activity in the region is also increasing. The U.S. naval base has seen heightened security after the USS Ohio-class nuclear-powered submarine arrived last evening. A ballistic missile submarine commissioned in 1986, basically now operating in the region amid tight security measures. The Ohio class includes 14 ballistic missile submarines and 4 guided missile submarines, making them some of the most powerful underwater strike platforms in the U.S. Navy. Reports also say a team of Royal Marines has arrived in the region on RAF transport aircraft, while authorities have imposed a 200-meter exclusion zone around the South Mole until further notice. Meanwhile, Iran has issued a fresh warning to France and Britain against deploying naval vessels to the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran says any such move would escalate tensions and militarize the strategic waterway even further. The warning also came as an oil tanker successfully crossed the strait using a route designated by the Iranian authorities. The French president, meanwhile, cleared that France never envisaged a naval deployment to the strait. He also said any security effort would be coordinated with Iran. At the same time, Britain has announced a major multinational meeting to address the growing crisis. In fact, the British Defense Secretary and the French Armed Forces Minister are set to co-chair talks involving more than 40 countries to discuss military plans to restore trade through the strait. All of this now setting the stage for a high-stakes diplomatic encounter later this week. And Trump is expected to arrive in Beijing on Wednesday, remember, where Iran is expected to be a key topic in the talks with the Chinese president. With global energy markets under pressure, fears of a longer war escalating, Washington seems to be now leaning on China to use its influence over Tehran to try and push for a deal, it seems. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.